New Beginnings family. So last weekend was Father's Day, and we had a great turnout for our barbecue and our basket raffle. Some really great baskets were distributed amongst our families and our dads. So I'm glad for the people that took participation in that. And we raised like $700. So that's pretty exciting because we're well on our way to our $40,000. We also had another large donation for someone that voted for the Mohawk. So if you're still looking to vote, you still want to donate, we're going to be doing that $1 a day pledge right up until August 21st. We're only 3 weeks in and we're climbing that ladder for that $40,000. So pledging to donate $1 a day all the way through August 21st. On the 22nd is our baptism and picnic, and you'll get a free lunch if you've donated that $1 per day. If you want to be baptized, just get in touch with Samantha or use your Connect card. We have some other fun events that can help you donate towards that $40,000 as well. And one of them is the July 17th Family Movie Night. It's going to be starting around 6:30. We're going to be looking for a donation per person, but also we'll have popcorn and drinks and candy for sale, and all those proceeds go to the Capital Campaign. And I've lost my voice because I've been so excited about all the events going on at New Beginnings, right? So we have one more announcement for our children's ministry, and that's going to be from Sarah Yerka.
Hello, New Beginnings. We're here to talk about an opportunity here at the church. Before we dive into the details with this opportunity, I wanted to first read a verse. From Proverbs chapter 22, verse 6. Start children off on the way they should go, and even when they are old, they will not turn from it. I sat in church about a month ago with my husband and our 2-year-old son. It was a little crazy town manning a toddler during service. And I thought to myself, what can I do to help get our children's ministry back up and running now that the pandemic has come to an end? It's been very difficult to bring our family to church without the children's ministry. Listen up to these details for how you can get involved in this opportunity.
One of the reasons we're bringing you this opportunity today is because we need help. We need volunteers. Someone to come back and be with the children in each room. You may find that to be a bit scary. I know I did. I started this when my oldest son was just born, and that was 40 years ago. And I've been doing it ever since because it's amazing what they teach you and what blessings you get from this. Mm-hmm. So don't be scared. And gentlemen, it's not a place for just the mothers of the church to work. We need men back here too, okay? And I just wanted to encourage you to take that seriously.
Awesome. And some of the specifics, we're going to have a nursery through kindergarten age, so we're looking for 2 volunteers in there each week. And we would love someone in that room in addition that might like to sit in the rocking chair and just love on the little ones. Each week, all you would be doing is sitting in that rocking chair and extending the love of Jesus. And then we will have our elementary grade class where we'll be looking for a teacher and a helper there as well, and someone that might be interested in helping Mark with our teens. Anyone just wanting to get involved in games and activities, Mark's got all the lessons planned. So if you're interested, we're going to have an informational night on Tuesday, July 6th at 6:30. We would love all of you who have already committed and anyone just interested in learning more about it, coming talking to us, join us. We would like to know ahead if you can come. So let Sam only know ahead of time that you can join us.
Grace, are you ready to get back in the classroom on Sunday?
Yes, she is.
So really looking forward to that children's ministry open, and I bet you the kids are too. Thanks for joining us for our service today, and we hope that you enjoy the music and the message.
Flowing from the grace that I found. Love is patient, love is kind. It does not envy, it does not boast, it is not proud. It does not dishonor others, it is not self-seeking, it is not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil, but rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes, and always perseveres.
I can feel it, I can feel it, I can feel it. Ooh.
All right, well, here we are starting on a brand new message series called The Grudge. It's from Life Church, and in this series we're talking about forgiveness, and we're going to start the series off about forgiving small offenses. And you would think it'd be really easy to forgive small offenses, but no, it's not. It's just like nothing's ever easy. And in particular, small offenses are really difficult to forgive because what happens is we don't really pay attention enough to those small offenses as far as to really process them. And so what happens is they accumulate, and you get to the place where you become bitter, and then you get to the place where you can't forgive anybody for anything. You can't forgive that guy who you're on the thruway, right? And there's plenty of construction on the thruway. It goes from 2 lanes down to 1 lane, and everybody is taking their turn and they're waiting, they're being patient. Then you got a Yahoo comes up on the side of the road and butts in front of everyone. You can't forgive that guy. Or you can't forgive the guy who goes to the express line where you're supposed to have under 10 items, and he's got like 45 items or something like that, and you're right behind him, you're going, "Rrr." Or you have somebody who takes your parking spot that you're just about to go into. That was actually the case with myself and Linda. I went to the doctor. I think I had a sinus infection or something along those lines. And he gave me a prescription. We went directly to the pharmacy right after the doctor's appointment. And I was just about to pull into the parking spot in front of the pharmacy. And all of a sudden, this lady just barrels in there and takes the spot. And I'm mumbling under my breath, "Can you say selfish?" It was one of those moments for me. And Linda said something that has stuck with me. This was years ago. It's stuck with me. She said, "You know, what I'm seeing is a mother who's probably got a child that is really sick, and she just wants to get in there and get that medicine and get it to that kid as quickly as possible." That one I had to think about. You know, bitterness is never better, right? It just isn't better. I don't know of anybody who feels better because they're bitter. But even though we know it's not better, it's still so hard to try and forgive and forget. And because life is way too short, what I'd like to do for you today is just talk to you about 3 things that I think you might find helpful as far as trying to beat back bitterness. So here we go. First of the 3 is that offense is everywhere, and you find what you are looking for. King David actually came to understand this principle. He understood it through life experience. Towards the end of his life, he penned out Psalm 18, I should say. And this is what he said about God in Psalm 18. "To the faithful you show yourself faithful, to the blameless you show yourself blameless, to the pure you show yourself pure, but to the devious you show yourself shrewd." What David explained and expressed there is a pretty cool thing. It's this idea that we have a tendency of projecting on other people and even God those qualities that we have in ourselves. So that's the reason why, somebody who gets a little light-fingered as far as taking things is always worried about somebody else trying to get over on them, because they look at life and they look at people in that particular way. Maybe I can explain it a little bit better with Pugsley. Pugsley is our dog, okay? Pugsley is a pug that I know now why pugs are called pugs, because they're pugnacious. But anyways, Pugsley and I have a love-hate relationship. I intentionally try to mess with him. I know he tries to mess with me. It's one of those yin and yang things, right? Anyways, we play this foot game. Pugsley hates anything on his front paws. If somebody touches his front paws, he immediately pulls it away. So Pugsley hates it when I put my foot on his front paws. And I'll keep on doing that just to tick him off. Okay, so he'll start to growl at my foot. And then he'll start to try to bite my foot. And then he's barking at my foot. And when he gets really frustrated, he starts running around the room trying to blow off steam. But the funny thing is this, he comes back and wants more. And the point I'm trying to make is this, okay? If you're looking for the worst in somebody, you're going to find it. If you're looking for the best in somebody, you're going to find that. You find what you're looking for as far as offense is concerned and just about everything else. So that's point number one. Point number two is this. The foundation for offense or forgiveness is found in the gap between action and reaction. It's found in the gap between action and reaction. See, what happens is we have this gap of time between the action that we have just experienced and how we process that and going into our reaction, okay? Solomon, David's son, penned the Proverbs, okay? And in Proverbs 10, he says this, hatred stirs up quarrels, but love makes up for all offenses. So what Solomon was trying to say is this. He was actually saying you got to make a choice. We all have a decision to make, and how we interpret somebody's actions, okay? Is it appropriate? Is it inappropriate? What is it going on, okay? So something that I've seen is this. We have a tendency when we are interpreting our own actions to explain those actions based upon our circumstances. We might say, I know I did the wrong thing, but I was really under a lot of stress, and that's the reason why I did the wrong thing. So there's actually this processing going on, okay? But with other people, what we have a tendency of doing is this. We usually interpret their actions and we make assumptions regarding their character based upon their actions. That person did that thing because that person's a jerk, in other words, okay? So, in other words, we have a tendency of giving ourselves the benefit of the doubt, but not necessarily other people. So where does that come from? Well, it comes from the pit, all right? Straight up, it's Satan working. Satan actually is called the Accuser. We find that in Revelation, the book of Revelation in the 12th chapter. The setup is this. There's a huge proclamation that is given based upon Michael and his angels winning the battle for heaven over Satan and his angels. And I'll pick it up at verse 10 of chapter 12 in Revelation. Then I heard a loud voice in heaven say, now have come the salvation and the power and the kingdom of our God and the authority of his Messiah. For the accuser of our brothers and sisters who accuses them before our God day and night has been hurled down. So what's being expressed here is that Satan is this accuser of people. He accuses you, he accuses me before God all the time, but he also works on trying to influence us to try to accuse one another because he's a divide and conquer type guy, right? But on the flip side, you have the influence of God who's trying to influence us towards loving on people and filling that gap with love. Solomon in Proverbs 17 explains it pretty nicely. Whoever would foster love covers over an offense. See, love covers an offense based upon the idea that you're processing with empathy as opposed to accusation. So we all need to really make a choice. When we're confronted with something in the way of an action that seems offensive, we've got a choice to make, okay? If we interpret that based upon accusation, well, then we're going to be offended. But if we choose to interpret that based upon love and empathy, then we're going to be able to come over it or get over it. That's exactly what happened in the parking lot that one day with Linda and myself. See, I processed that. I lacked empathy for that particular driver, that woman who took the parking spot from me. And so I accused her of being selfish, where Linda processed that with empathy and so got over it. So that's number two. That's the second thing, which leads us to the third thing. Why should we choose love in processing the gap? Why should we choose love? Well, I offer you three reasons. The first one would be because God loved us when we offended him. We find that really succinctly put in the letter to the Roman church by Paul. In Romans 5:8, Paul writes, "But God demonstrates his own love for us in this: while we were still sinners, Christ died for us." So if we want to be like God and act like God and follow God closely, we will choose love as opposed to offense. The second one would be pretty obvious. Forgiveness is better than bitterness. Forgiveness is just plain and simply better than bitterness. Bitterness is so expensive. First of all, it's exhausting. It's exhausting to be bitter all the time and angry all the time. It exacts a toll on your health. It exacts a toll on your quality of life. As opposed to forgiveness helps me and everybody else to get over that. Something that's really was a revelation to me. When I came to understand anger has a short shelf life. I've got a challenge as far as being angry a lot. And I've come to realize that anger has a short shelf life. It doesn't last very long. And so what it needs is to have renewed energy and life given to it by replaying the offense. For those of you who've been angry a lot, have you ever noticed you just replay the offense over and over and over and over again? That's certainly been my experience. And in so doing, I've kept my anger alive. But what happens is forgiveness breaks the tape of the replay tape, if you will. Back in the day, Linda used to have this big camcorder she used to haul around on her shoulder, and she would take videos and films of family events. And then we would have it on this big Lunken VHS tape. But those tapes broke, right? Any of the who were back in the day, the tapes broke. That's what forgiveness does. Forgiveness breaks the tape that keeps anger alive. And then finally, we choose love because love expresses just who we are. The Apostle John really explained it pretty well when he wrote in his first letter, we love because he first loved us. I like that. We love because he first loved us. Once again, I've struggled in this. You know, these little petty things, they just accumulate and they just stick in your craw. And it's so difficult to get over that at times. But there was this one time that I still remember that I was able to get over it. It was back in the nursery business when, in those days, way back when. I had a guy who came to me and asked if I would supply evergreen trees for a project that he had going on. And I said, sure, not a problem. And so I can't remember the number of trees, 20, 30 trees or something like that. Dug the trees, got them all ready for him. Give them a call as soon as they're ready. He says he'll try to get them, pick them up as soon as possible. Well, a couple weeks go by, and the trees is starting to get dry. And so I give the guy a call and say, hey, can you pick these things up? He says, no, I can't. So I deliver the plants to him free of charge. Just wanted to get them off my property, get them onto his property so he can get them planted. Well, it goes a couple weeks before he gets a contractor to be able to plant the plants. And in the course of almost a month that the plants have been on top of the ground baking, some of them died. So when he paid the bill, he deducted for those that died. And I gave him a call when I got his check, and I said, I don't offer a warranty on these. You bought them at wholesale prices. There's no warranty on these things. He said, well, I still am out those plants based upon I've got a contractor who charged me to put those plants in the ground. I got have another contractor come and replace those plants. I'm still out that, so that's what I'm going to pay you. Now, at that point in time, I had a decision to make. What was I going to do? And I still remember this thing that went on in my mind, this mantra. I kept on saying, he needs the money more than I do. He needs the money more than I do. And that allowed me to get over it because he was just starting this new business and probably did need the money more than I did. I didn't like the way he got the money, but he did need the money more than I did. So that prompted a measure of compassion on my part that I could actually pray for him as opposed to just get angry with him. It's so easy to get angry. But life is too short to be angry. And if you're a Christian, your call is too great to get offended with small things. And that's our takeaway. As far as our next steps are concerned, I offer to you what I normally offer, which is 4 of them. The first one is normal return next week. Pastor Randy's going to offer the faith to forgive. He's going to talk to you why you should forgive, how we can develop the faith to forgive. The second would be to consider how God has forgiven us. There's nothing that helps us to forgive other people more than being cognizant of how much you've been forgiven. And then third, commit to stop replaying the offense in your mind. Stop the anger. Finally, to pray for the pain of somebody else rather than focus on your own pain. Those are the 4. They might be yours, they might not be yours, but I offer to you them anyways, and I know that God's got something for you in that, because I don't think I'm alone in having a challenge in this thing. You might not have quite the challenge I do, but we all have a challenge as far as trying to forgive, even the small things. So let's pray, if you would. Heavenly Father, we give you thanks. We thank you so much because you forgave us and you developed an example by which we can not only forgive other people, but also just unpack so much of the baggage that we carry around in life. I can't help but think that there's many people, just as myself, who just have carried around way too much baggage of angst and anxiety and anger over small offenses. Help us to see people like you see people. Help us to be able to forgive people like you forgive, even us. We ask in the name of Jesus. Amen.
Hey church, how's it going? At this point in service, we're going to be entering into a time of offering. Now here at New Beginnings on Church Online, we have a few ways to give. You can give via snail mail, you can text to give, or you can check out our website at mbcc.today. Now when you give online, it's really convenient. I think it is, at least. It's one of those things where you check out our website, you click on the donate button, and I think you can set up recurring payments. And for me personally, that's really convenient because, well, I don't always remember to bring cash with me. I'm not a cash guy. I use my card most of the time, so this is really cool for me personally. But before we actually begin this time of giving, I just remind you that, when we give, we don't give out of obligation. When it comes to our relationship with God, He's never interested in our obligations. He's only interested in our heart. And so when we give, when we kind of enter in this time, it's important for us to remember that, when we give, we have to be cheerful givers. And it's better for us to not give than to give out of obligation. So remember that. Keep your heart open, and let's enter into this time of offering.
Lost cool, and you straight up lost your mind. Tried so hard to stay ahead, but you keep falling behind. Life's gonna pull you down and make it hard to see, but a little change in your point of view could be just what you need. There's always a reason to choose joy, 'cause there's something deeper the world can destroy. Smile when you think you can't smile. Get up and dance, smile. There's a bigger plan. The storm only lasts for a while, so smile. Happiness is wonderful, but it don't stick around. Walking on sunshine, then here comes the clouds. We can laugh or we can cry when it falls apart, but I believe the more you laugh, the more you heal the heart. There's always a reason to choose joy. There's something deeper the world can destroy. Smile when you think you can't smile. Get up and dance, smile. There's a bigger plan. They've got a reason to smile when you think you can't smile. Just clap your hands, smile. There's a bigger plan. You got a reason to smile. Yeah. There's always a reason to choose joy. There's something deeper the world can destroy. Smile when you think you can. Smile. Get up and dance. Smile. There's a bigger plan. You got a reason to smile when you think you can't smile. Just clap your hands. Smile. There's a bigger plan. You got a reason to smile. Yeah. Get on up and smile. Yeah, you got a reason to smile.
Okay, so join us next week as we continue the series, The Grudge. Don't forget to like and share the service on Facebook, and I'll see you next week.